You talk about 3 possibilities of life existing on Earth. 3. Let's go through those.
Yeah, Crick who unraveled the DNA molecule, did his work back in 1953. Him and Watson. Watson wrote the book, and Crick did the work. But they decided they did the work on unraveling the DNA molecule, and in the process, they determined the probability that DNA would be automatically created in the primordial soups of the creation of the Earth, the first dawn of Earth's history. That would be roughly, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, but the life is probably about 3.5 billion years old. And that they determined, and rightfully so, because the proteins necessary in DNA and the amino acids necessary in DNA are kind of like chicken and the egg. You have to have the amino acids in order to create the proteins.
That's right.
And you have to have the proteins in order to create the amino acids. So, you're stuck. And Crick finally determined that the odds of this primordial soup creating DNA were 10 to the 260th power. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means 10 with 260 zeros behind it.
That's pretty big.
That's more than all of the molecules in the entire universe. That's a bigger number. So in other words, he sat down in the comfort of his chair back in 53 and said to himself, this is impossible. I mean, it's obvious to me that DNA did not happen by chance here on the Earth.
So that's point 1.
Yeah, that's point 1.
The second one is fascinating. As you well know, listening to this program and some of the things we've talked about over the years, that perhaps over billions of years ago, extraterrestrials, aliens brought life here. Tell me about that.
Well, that's what Crick came up with, and he wasn't a ufologist or even favorable, but he was backed against the wall, and he had to come up with some sort of rationale why DNA appeared on the horizon here and brought life here. He said the only possible way was for some sort of UFO to have brought it here. And my only comment to Crick was, all you're doing is shoving the problem to some other planet. You're not solving the creation problem at all. Even if the UFOs come to you from deep inside the universe, that's 10 to the 260 power zeros is an awfully big number, and it would take them just the very same type of conditions as it takes us. And there was a time when I first met you that the UFOs were something that I believed in, but it was a tongue-in-cheek type of thing.
Yeah.
And then I went up to James Gillian's ranch, and lo and behold, there were 50 of us there and with high-def cams. And one of those triangle things came right over us, and suddenly all doubt was gone. And it's a tremendous sensation to change from saying, okay, well, maybe it happened that way, to I'm absolutely certain, It changes everything in your being.
Well, when they talk about alien life came here, are they talking about it as we know, ETs, like you've just mentioned from Gilliland's farm and the Trout Lodge there? Or are we talking about microbes on a meteorite?
No, they're talking about UFOs.
Okay.
Classics. Microbes on a meteorite, something in a comet. That wouldn't be possible either. We get down to what was happening on the Earth at 3.5 billion years ago. It wouldn't have sustained life either. The balance of life-sustaining properties here on this Earth is so delicate. It's amazing that we're alive. From
True.
the concentrations of oxygen. You look at the Earth and you say, what's the most common mineral in the crust of the Earth? Do you know?
In the common mineral in the crust of the earth?
Yeah.
This is your old science teacher doing this to me again, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, it's oxygen.
Hold on, let me guess. Oxygen.
Yeah, there you go. That was a good guess.
Yeah.
And for the oxygen to have infiltrated the crust of the earth, that was a song and dance of such great beauty and delicacy that it's impossible for that to happen. I mean, we talk about the DNA appearing here. Just think about the oxygen appearing in the crust of the earth. Oxygen combines with so many things to burn and to change its nature. That it's amazing that it exists in the crust of the earth.
Okay, so here are two of the possibilities then. Life spontaneously appeared out of the primordial soup, atoms and all this, and here it is, and developed on this planet. ETs came here and either genetically altered us or brought life to us. But then there's this third possibility, Glenn, you've talked about, which is also profound. Go ahead.
Let's back up for a moment.
All right.
ETs did not bring life to this earth. There's too many. First of all, why would they bring it to this remote, rocky planet so far from, what's really happening in the universe? The size of our planet isn't conducive for a big party. You got to have more chairs and a little more crepe paper to really be of interest. But UFOs didn't bring it here and set it on the earth and say, let's see what this does. That's craziness. And I could probably sit down and go through about 100 reasons why that's not likely. First of all, it's too far away for people to play a game with. The distances